Okay, this is part 3 of John Stuart Mill quotes. Topic is on debate. He says, "Strange it is that men should admit the validity of the arguments for free speech, but then object to being pushed to an extreme, not seeing that unless the reasons are good for an extreme case, they are not good for any case." Yeah, free speech means free speech. When one's ideas are not challenged, one's ability to defend them weakens. He who only knows his own side of the case knows little of that. Okay, the most incessant occupation of the human intellect throughout life is the ascertainment of truth. The test of a real and vigorous thinking, the thinking which ascertains truth instead of dreaming dreams, is successful application to practice. It is only through the clash of adverse opinions that the remainder of the truth has any chance of being supplied. The only way in which a human being can make some approach to knowing the whole of a subject is by hearing what can be said about it by persons of every variety of opinion, and studying all modes in which it can be looked at by every character of mind. And that kind of reminds me, like when I'm trying to really learn a subject, I sometimes buy these books written by patients or other people about a given particular disease. And it's right that 3 out of 4 will just be craziness and stupidity. But that 4th book, a lot of times, well, not always, but sometimes it'll be really good stuff, unique insights. And I kind of had to go through the 3 crazies to get to the good stuff. Okay, all ideas need to be heard because each idea contains one aspect of truth. By examining that aspect, we add to our own idea of the truth. Even ideas that have no truth in them whatsoever are useful because by disproving them, we add support to our own ideas. Every man who says frankly and fully what he thinks is doing a public service. We should be grateful to him for challenging our most cherished opinions. Everything must be free to be written and published without restraint. So I like the fact that he's very pro-thinking, he's very pro-freedom of speech. The only thing is, he wanted this for the educated Englishman. He wasn't that pro-free speech for people of Ireland. And my father's from Ireland. He wasn't that pro-free speech for people of India. Okay, he was very much sort of like an England aristocrat. Okay, he says, you can never truly call yourself educated until you study not only the best arguments of your own side, but the best arguments of your opponents. After the primary necessities of food and clothing, freedom is the first and strongest want of human nature. When one's ideas are not challenged, one's ability to defend them weakens. Okay, the study of science teaches young men to think, but the study of the classics teaches them to express thought. Whatever crushes individuality is despotism, by whatever name it is called. However, and whether or not it professes to be enforcing the will of God or the injunctions of man. Okay, custom is everywhere the standing hindrance to human achievement. Okay, John Stuart Mill on stupidity. There is nothing in which the untrained mind shows it more hopelessly incapable than in drawing the proper general conclusions from its own experience. With small men, no great thing can really be accomplished. Yeah, some people are just smarter or dumber than others, and some people are just more educated or dumber than others. Now, don't get me wrong. Any individual can tremendously increase their ability to know a field and to get there if they want to learn it and they're open and honest and they struggle to get to the truth. But there's a lot of people, they're just locked into old patterns and you can't break them out. A lot of old, cognitively declined people, there's nothing you could do. I mean, I got a lot of experience of talking to old, cognitively declined patients, and it's kind of sad. You have to be willing to say, okay, maybe my entire thought process on this is wrong. Let me examine the other point of view, and I'll do it. And maybe what you had was right, but you have to freely be able to jump back and forth and handle the nuance of doing that. And as simple as that sounds, a lot of people can't do that, or they get emotionally offended. Oh, you challenged my opinion, then you're a jerk. You don't support me. You're not my friend. And it's like, dude, you got to just try the thought out and see if it works. Okay, better to be a human dissatisfied than a swine satisfied. Better to be Socrates dissatisfied than a fool satisfied. A person may cause evil to others not only by his actions, but by his inaction. The only freedom deserving of that name is that of pursuing your own good in our own way, so long as we do not attempt to deprive others of theirs. Okay, and that's what I got for John Stuart Mill. Hope you found that helpful.